Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education 2014, English Language Paper 3, Listening and Integrated Skills. Instructions to candidates. You should have on your desk a Part A question-answer book, a Part B1 data file with a Part B1 question-answer book inserted, and a Part B2 data file with a Part B2 question-answer book inserted. Do not open them until you are told to do so. I repeat, do not open the question-answer books or the data files until you are told to do so. Now write your candidate number in the space provided on page 1 of your Part A question-answer book. Now look at the Part A question-answer book. Check that the Part A question-answer book has no missing pages. Look for the words End of Part A. Now go on to Part B on the last page. Now stick your barcode labels in the spaces provided on pages 1, 3 and 5. Close your Part A question-answer book when you have finished. Now look at your Part B1 data file. Take out the inserted Part B1 question-answer book. Check that your Part B1 data file has no missing pages. Look for the words, "This is the last page of the Part B1 data file" on the last page. Now look at your Part B1 question-answer book. Check that the Part B1 question-answer book has no missing pages. Look for the words End of Part B1 on the last page. Now stick your barcode label in the space provided on page 1. Now look at your Part B2 data file. Take out the inserted Part B2 question-answer book. Check that the Part B2 data file has no missing pages. Look for the words, "This is the last page of the Part B2 data file" on the last page. Now look at your Part B2 question-answer book. Check that the Part B2 question-answer book has no missing pages. Look for the words End of Part B2 on the last page. Now stick your barcode labels in the spaces provided on pages 1 and 3. Close the Part B2 question-answer book when you have finished. You are reminded that all examination materials will be played once only. The test is divided into 2 parts, Part A and Part B. You should use a pencil to answer all questions in Part A. For Part B, you can use a pen or a pencil. Put up your hand now if you have any difficulties. It is not possible to handle complaints after you have taken the test. The test is about to begin. Keep your earphones on until you are told to take them off. Open your Part A question-answer book at page 3. Part A is about to begin. Part A. Situation. Helen Lee, Mike Wan and John Tung are students. They have been asked to produce some YouTube clips for their school website. You are going to hear 4 recordings of Helen, Mike and John speaking to different people. In Part A, you will have a total of 4 tasks to do. Follow the instructions in the question-answer book and in the recording to complete the tasks. You will find all the information you need in this question-answer book and the recording. You now have 2 minutes to familiarise yourself with tasks 1 to 4. Task 1. You are going to listen to a meeting where Helen, Mike and John discuss with Helen's teacher, Miss Stanley, the background and ideas for the project. Listen to the meeting and write the missing information in the spaces provided in the note sheet. The first has been provided as an example. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1 minute to tidy up your answers.
Good morning. Come in, all of you, and sit down. Now, Helen, can you introduce me to your friends?
Well, this is John, and this is Mike.
Hello, Miss Stanley.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Good morning, Miss Stanley.
Morning, John. Well, thanks for helping out. OK, let's get started, shall we? So I finalised the dates of the project. You need to have the first YouTube clip completed in 2 weeks on the 23rd of February. That way we can spot any problems on the production side of things early on. Is the 23rd okay for everyone?
Yes, no problem.
Fine with me.
Good. Now, I'm giving you about 3 months to do all 6 of the YouTube clips. So that will be the 17th of May. I hope you guys are good at sticking to a deadline. OK. Let's move on to the next thing then, shall we? Helen?
Yes.
Tell me, who is doing what in this project?
Yes. Well, let's see. I want to direct the clips and interview people. I'd love to direct something. Oh, yes. I'll also be helping out John with writing scripts.
That's good, 'cause I'm gonna need some help with the writing.
Helen told me you'd done a bit of editing, John. Is that right?
That's right. I've done some editing before. I just hope I'll be able to manage.
OK. Mike, what would you like to do?
I want to do the recording and look after the equipment. I've got a lot of experience.
Mike is very good at fixing things. He even fixed my iPhone.
Fixing stuff is easy.
So shall we have a look at the ideas you've come up with for the theme for all of the clips?
Well, we have 4 ideas for the themes. The one I like most is Hong Kong's wild animals. I think that it's a topic not many people really know about, and there's a lot of wildlife in Hong Kong.
Yes, I like that idea. Actually, come to think of it, I know someone who might be able to help you. He works in an animal shelter in the New Territories. Maybe you could interview him. His name is Brad.
Brad? B-R-A-D? Like the Hollywood actor?
Yes, that's right. I've got his email address on my phone. Do you want me to text it to you?
Just tell me it, and I'll type it into mine now.
OK, here it is. The email address is wildtamer@gmail.com.
Is that WILDTAMER?
That's right. All one word. WILDTAMER. And Gmail is spelt GMAIL.
Oh, I know how to spell Gmail.
OK, that's enough of that, I think. So, does anyone want to suggest other ideas?
To be honest, I actually prefer my idea. I was thinking of interviewing people who have unusual hobbies. You know, like people who dress up as cartoon characters or go hunting UFOs.
Unusual hobbies. Maybe. Have you got somebody in mind to interview?
Well, no, not really.
Well, you'd need to think about somebody to contact then.
I know I've mentioned it before, but I like to suggest that we make some clips about important places in Hong Kong.
Oh, not this again.
Thank you, Mike. Can I hear your idea, John?
Well, I thought it would be nice to tell people about places in Hong Kong that are important in some way, you know, historically or culturally.
Well, that seems like a very good idea too. I actually found an article about this the other day. You could use it to add some interesting information.
Oh, I have one more idea. I think it could be really amazing.
Yes?
We could do something about ghosts of Hong Kong.
Oh, no, not ghosts.
Well, I'm not sure about that. It's going to be difficult to arrange an interview with a ghost.
Very difficult.
So which theme do you think we should choose?
Well, wild animals and important places in Hong Kong seem to have a lot of potential. But why don't you guys discuss it more and give me your final decision later? Now, before we finish for today, I have some good news for you. You have been given a budget of $2,000 for the project.
Wow, $2,000. What can we spend it on?
Oh, just little things, you know, like stationery or food when you're out recording. Oh, and transport. Maybe gifts.
Gifts?
Yes, gifts for people you interview. It could be a drink or some food, just to say thank you. OK? Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to pick up the smart card from the office so you can get into the studio when you need to.
No problem. I'll get the smart card now. Thanks for your help, Miss Stanley. Bye.
Thank you, Miss Stanley. Bye-bye.
That is the end of Task 1. You now have 1 minute to tidy up your answers. Task 2. Helen, Mike and John are now discussing which theme to choose for their YouTube clips. Listen to their discussion and fill in the missing information in the spaces provided in the table. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1 minute to tidy up your answers.
Right. Miss Stanley said she wants us to choose a theme for the 6 YouTube clips. We need to tell her by the end of today and explain the reasons for our choice. I've got the new list of themes we've come up with, and we'll just go through them and vote yes, no, or maybe for each one. Mike, can you just remind me of the themes again so I can write them down?
Sure. So we have wild animals in Hong Kong, important places in Hong Kong, famous people in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong comics.
Let's start with wild animals then. I'm putting a tick for myself. I like this theme a lot. I think most people are interested in animals, because they can be cute or scary.
Are there cute animals in Hong Kong? I mean, there are plenty of scary insects and snakes here, but cute animals? Really?
Well, there are deer in Hong Kong. They're quite cute.
Well, okay, I suppose.
What's the matter, Mike? Don't you like this theme?
No, I really want to do this theme. Animals will be good to film. They move in different ways. That makes them very good subjects for this kind of project.
Well, put me down for a yes. I love animals. But what I think is good about wild animals is that different animals are colorful.
That's true. We want our videos to be colorful. Okay, so let's move on to important places in Hong Kong. Personally, I'm not sure about this one. Sorry, John. I know you suggested this theme.
Why? What's the problem with it?
I don't know. It's just that I think most students know about these places already. What do you think, Mike?
I'm a no. Places and buildings don't move, and that makes them dull to look at on video. I think it would be a very dull theme overall. Like you say, Helen, students know about these places already.
Well, we could go beyond what most students know already and find exciting stories about each place. We could,
Let it go, John. We've decided it's too boring. OK, let's have a look at the next theme. Famous people. Right, Helen?
Yeah, that's right. I'm also a maybe on this one. I reckon most famous people would probably be too busy to speak to us.
I think this is a great idea, actually. It would be good for the school's image.
good for the school's image. How does that work, Mike?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I think the only people we're gonna get to interview are people that students are not interested in. Helen's right. We're not gonna get movie stars or pop stars. We're just gonna get some boring old writer.
OK, John, fine. We all get your point.
Let's look at the last theme and finish up.
Well, this is another one of my suggestions. Hong Kong comics. I hope you guys will say yes for this one. I love comics.
To be honest, I think that this theme is too common. I want to do something a bit different.
But the drawings are amazing.
Okay, the artwork is amazing, Mike, but aren't these comics just for boys?
Not all of them. I know what you mean, though, Helen. I'm not sure about this idea. Many of the comics seem to be very similar.
Similar? Similar how?
Well, especially the stories. The stories are nearly always the same.
Well, that's it then. It looks like Wild Animals of Hong Kong is our theme, yeah?
OK.
I guess so.
That is the end of Task 2. You now have 1 minute to tidy up your answers. Task 3. Helen is now interviewing Nilay Shah, who works for the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department, the AFCD. Complete the notes by filling in the missing information in the spaces provided. You now have 30 seconds to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 1.5 minutes to tidy up your answers.
So, Mr. Shah, you work for the Agricultural, Fisheries and Conservation Department, is that right?
Yes, that's right. As a senior officer. I've been a senior officer here for 6 years now, and in the AFCD for nearly 12 years.
Wow, 12 years. That is a long time. I bet you have some interesting stories about wild animals.
I've certainly seen a few strange things in my time, yes. The most exciting one that happened recently was maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I was just finishing my lunch when my supervisor called me and told me to get a team over to Lok Ma Chau. You know, he said some villagers were under attack from a wild boar, and it was trapped in their house, and they couldn't get it out.
Gosh, so did the boar do much, like, damage or anything?
Damage? That boar was like a bomb. It totally wrecked that villager's house. You know, we had a look around after we'd caught it. I remember seeing that it had knocked over a large TV and cracked the screen. Heaven knows how much that cost to replace. Oh, and then it trashed the kitchen cupboard when it was trying to get at some food. These animals are so powerful, you know.
Oh no, that's terrible.
That's only half of it. I guess that boar must have eaten a lot of food in the cupboard because it then soiled an expensive carpet. You know, one of those fancy carpets from India. And if that wasn't enough, that boar actually tried to eat the curtains. It ripped the curtains off their railings and chewed them to pieces.
So can you tell me the whole story from the beginning? Who were the villagers?
The people in question were a Mr. Tang and his son. Mr. Tang lived on his own in one of those small market farms that you get in the New Territories.
So how did the boar get in?
Very dramatically indeed. At around 11 a.m., Mr. Tang said he'd noticed his dog barking at something out by the forest near his vegetable field.
The boar, right?
Yes, that's right. Now, usually his dog scares off the boars, but not this time, though. He told me that all of a sudden his dog gave out a really loud yelp and came running back towards the house as fast as it could. And chasing the dog was this huge brown boar. Well, that dog jumped straight through the door and into the house. And Mr. Tang, seeing what was happening, tried as quickly as he could to shut the door. But, oh dear. Awful, really.
Awful? What happened?
Well, that boar hit the door so hard that it threw Mr. Tang off his feet, and he landed badly on the floor, breaking his arm. Poor old man. He was in such pain when we saw him. It wasn't until we got him an ambulance that he realized his arm was broken.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Falling over and breaking his arm like that?
Yeah. Then he told me that he ran out of the house and shut the door and locked it. He called his son over to help. But when his son arrived just before lunch, he also got injured.
His son got injured? How?
I think the son thought it was just a little boar, and that he could scare it out of the house easily. He went in carrying a big stick and tried to scare the boar by banging the floor with his stick. But that boar wasn't scared at all. It charged straight at the son and bit the son's leg. That poor fellow had to get stitches for his cuts in the end, and an injection.
Ouch! So when did you get there?
Well, we got there about lunchtime, around 1 or 2. We had a cage with us, and we put some dog food inside the cage. Then, very carefully and quietly, we put the cage inside the house and waited for the boar to go into the cage and trap itself. It wouldn't go near the cage. It just ate the food it could find in the kitchen.
Sounds like a pretty clever boar.
Yeah, well, by the evening we gave up waiting and decided to call the police for extra help.
The police? What, were they going to arrest the boar for breaking and entering?
Yeah, very funny. No, they brought a vet with them who had a special kind of gun that fires tranquilizer darts.
Are tranquilizer darts those things that put animals to sleep?
Yes, it puts the animal to sleep for a while. But it's not always very safe. Sometimes it can kill the animal.
So did it work?
The vet missed the first time, but managed to shoot the boar the second time. After a few minutes, we went in and put the sleeping boar in the cage. You wouldn't believe how heavy it was. The next day, we let it go back into the wild.
You let the boar go? Not next to Mr. Tang's farm, I hope.
No. We took it to a country park a few kilometers away.
Wow, that really was an exciting story. Thanks so much again, Mr. Shaw. I can't wait to tell the others.
I'm glad you liked it. I must say, I'm looking forward to seeing your YouTube clip when it's finished.
That is the end of Task 3. You now have 1.5 minutes to complete your answers. Task 4. John and Helen have completed one of their YouTube clips. John is now showing the finished clip to Miss Stanley. Listen and fill in the missing information from the YouTube clip and then complete the comments Miss Stanley makes after seeing the clip. You now have 1 minute to study the task. At the end of the task, you will have 2 minutes to tidy up your answers.
OK, John, I'm looking forward to this. What's this part about?
This part is an interview with Robbie Lowe. He works for an animal charity in the New Territories. We asked him about the problem of stray animals in Hong Kong. I got Helen to interview him this time.
OK, let's have a look at it, shall we?
So, Robbie, can you tell us about some of the problems caused by stray animals in Hong Kong?
Well, Helen, first of all, we need to consider what we mean by stray animals. Actually, there are 3 different types of stray animals. One type that is common here are unwanted pets, things like cats and dogs mostly. The next most common type would be abandoned farm animals.
You mean like those wild cows in Sai Kung?
Yes, that's a good example, yes. The least common, but most interesting ones, are exotic species that have escaped from zoos. If you explore the countryside of Hong Kong, you'll find all kinds of animals that were once owned by people but have now been left to roam wild. But most of the problems people have with stray animals are from dogs. Stray dogs are associated with several risks. The greatest fear people have is from attacks. Dog bites can be particularly nasty and can carry the risk of diseases like rabies. Fortunately, attacks such as these by stray dogs are actually very rare. Stray dogs also make quite a mess. Most recently, there have been concerns about the damage stray dogs do to the local wildlife. It is believed that dogs are responsible for the deaths of many local wild animals every year. And dogs will eat almost anything, so they pose a risk.
What are the best ways of dealing with stray dogs then?
Currently, there are 2 recognised methods for dealing with stray dogs, but the Hong Kong government only practices the catch and kill policy. The catch and kill policy is as straightforward as it sounds. It does what it says. Usually, officers from the AFCD will trap dogs that they find which appear to have no owner. They will then keep the animal for 4 days, and if it's not claimed, they will put the animal down. This policy may seem at first glance to make sense, but the rate that the animals are killed is basically the same as the natural death rate from disease and starvation, so it does not lead to a drop in the population of stray dogs overall. In fact, in some places where this method has been carried out, there have been increases in the number of stray dogs. There are also some other disadvantages to this method. Some of us think that it is cruel to animals that have already suffered. Did you know that nearly 80% of the 10,000 stray dogs captured last year were destroyed? I mean, is this really how a civilized society deals with its unwanted pets? There is also another disadvantage. Sometimes the AFCD gets it wrong. In one case, a dog which had an identity microchip and had been registered was still put down because the AFCD had made a mistake. The alternative to this policy is what is called TNR, which means trap, neuter, and return. Basically, with this method, first the stray dog is caught and then it is desexed, so it's no longer able to breed. It's then vaccinated against certain diseases before being released at the place where it was originally found.
I heard that with this method, they cut a bit of the dog's ear off. Is that right?
Yes, we do. I know it sounds a bit barbaric, but it's only a small bit of the dog's ear. It seems a strange thing to do, but it's to show that it has been desexed and vaccinated, so they will know not to catch that dog again. This is the current practice in the USA and the UK, and it has been shown to work quite effectively. However, the government in Hong Kong doesn't want to use this method because they think the public would be against it, as the dog would still be a nuisance. We think this method has definite advantages, though, apart from just being a kinder way to deal with stray animals. You see, once the animal has been desexed, it actually becomes much less aggressive. Plus, maybe the biggest advantage is that the dog can no longer breed, and so there will be a drop in the population over time.
That's really interesting. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions.
OK, can we just stop this here, John?
Yes, sure. So, what did you think?
I'm not sure. To be honest, it's a bit dull to watch at the moment. Let me make a few points and suggestions. First, it's not visual enough. Remember, this is a video. It needs to be visually interesting. For example, at the moment, you only have a picture of Robbie's head while he's talking, with the occasional reaction shot of Helen nodding her head. You could make it more visual by putting in some shots of stray dogs.
Okay. I guess we can go back and film some stray dogs. Okay, what about the overall content?
Actually, that was going to be my second point. I think it is pretty interesting, but Robbie's definitely too biased.
I guess it is a bit unbalanced, looking at it right now.
Have you thought about interviewing someone who has a different opinion? It would be nice to contrast Robbie's opinion with someone who disagrees. Maybe someone from the AFCD.
Okay. I'm sorry it's not very good now. We'll really try to do a better job for next time.
Hey, don't worry, John. It's not bad. It just needs some work, that's all.
That is the end of Task 4. You now have 2 minutes to complete your answers to Task 4 and to tidy up all your other answers. Part B. Open your data file at page 2. Situation. You are Joey Wong. You are an assistant at the Kowloon Exotic Pets Hospital, which takes care of people's unusual pets. Your boss, Kerry Lam, has asked you to help with the development of the hospital's website and other tasks. You will listen to a recording of a podcast. In the podcast, you will hear an interview with Nilay Shah and Wendy Yee. Before the recording is played, you will have 5 minutes to study the question-answer book and the data file for Part B1, and the question-answer book and the data file for Part B2. Remember, you must choose to do the tasks in either Part B1 or Part B2. Do not attempt both Parts B1 and B2. Complete the tasks by following the instructions in the question-answer book that you choose and on the recording. You will find all the information you need in the question-answer book and data file that you choose and on the recording. As you listen, you can make notes on page 3 of the data file. You now have 5 minutes to familiarise yourself with the Part B question-answer book and the data file. The recording is about to begin. Turn to page 3 of the data file.
Welcome to the Pet Club Show. My name's Freeman Chin, and this week we're delighted to welcome 2 guests. A warm welcome to Mr. Nilay Shah from the AFCD. Hello and welcome, Nilay.
Hello.
And a big welcome to our second guest, Wendy Yi, a vet from the Kowloon Exotic Pets Hospital who specializes in exotic pets.
Hello.
Now, on today's show, we're focusing on exotic pets, as we've had a lot of letters from the Pet Club listeners about these kind of pets, and we'll answer 1 or 2 of them today. Before we really get started, can I ask you both to tell us a little bit more about what an exotic pet is and why they're popular? Maybe you can start, Nilay.
Well, an exotic pet is a wild animal which is a pet. For example, a dog or a cat is not classified as an exotic pet. But something like a snake is an exotic pet.
Yes, snakes. And if we think that it's a wild animal, it could even be something like a lion.
A lion? Wow, people keep lions as pets?
Yes, but you certainly can't keep a lion as a pet in Hong Kong. It's illegal.
Ah, that's interesting. No lions then. But why do people want to keep exotic pets?
Usually because they want an unusual pet, not something ordinary like a cat or dog.
Yes, having an unusual pet is the main reason, I think. But people also do it because they want to impress their friends.
Yes, I can see why some people would be impressed.
And people also tell me it's because they can learn something new. They have to learn about their unusual pet.
Learning is good. My nephew has a pet snake, and he learned all about it.
Well, are there any more examples of exotic pets? We can't have a lion. We can have a snake. What else can we have, Nilay?
You can have a spider. For example, a wolf spider.
Ugh, I don't like spiders. Anything else? Wendy, you're a vet. What exotic animals do you see in Hong Kong?
We have clients who have small pigs, but they have to live outside, of course. Besides small pigs, we also see things like frogs or turtles.
Frogs are quite cute. Turtles are not. At least I don't think they are.
My clients tell me that they think their exotic pets are beautiful. That may be another reason why they have them.
Okay, so unusual and beautiful. But what kinds of exotic pets are popular in Hong Kong right now?
We've also had some recent import trends in species like sugar gliders.
Sugar gliders? What are they?
Well, they come from countries like Australia. They're actually very cute, but we don't recommend them as pets.
Oh, you don't? Why not?
Well, they need a lot of space. Hong Kong flats are just too small, really.
Yes, I can see that space is a problem. Maybe best to think very carefully before buying a sugar glider then.
Absolutely.
Well, we need to move on and hear from some of our listeners. We've got a couple of emails. The first is Kenny, and he says, Dear Pet Club, I have heard that it's easy to have a snake as an exotic pet. Is this true? Should I have a snake as a pet? Nilay, can you answer that one?
Well, Kenny, I can tell you that it's legal to have some snakes in Hong Kong, and quite a lot of people have them.
Okay, that's good news. Is it easy to keep a snake? What about food?
Not a problem. Feeding a snake is really easy. Find out what your snake needs. A good pet shop will help you and answer questions. There are lots of good pet shops in Hong Kong.
That's great. I hope that answers your question, Kenny. Let's have another email. Nilay, do you want to read this one?
Okay. This is not really about an exotic animal, but it's about caring for animals. Here's the email. Dear Pet Club, I'm 16 years old, and I want to be a veterinary nurse. I don't know much about this, but I really like animals. Have you got any advice for me? Regards, Pinky.
Wendy, someone wants to be an animal nurse. You're a vet. Do you have any advice for Pinky?
I certainly do. Well, firstly, you really need to like animals and be interested in them. We can see from your letter that you are an animal lover, so that's not a problem.
Great. Are there any other requirements?
Well, I'd say you need good communication skills. You'll not just be interacting with animals. You'll have to be good at talking to people and doing some duties like answering client emails.
That's good advice. And what kind of skills does a veterinary nurse learn?
Well, it's quite varied. Learning how to handle the animals is one.
Yes, I can imagine you need to know how to handle a cat properly.
but I expect there's more than that, right, Wendy?
Absolutely. You learn clinical duties.
Really? Can you give us some examples?
Okay, clinical duties. One example is taking blood. How to correctly take blood from an animal.
I think it sounds like a very interesting career.
It's true. Well, certainly a few things to think about here. Now, before we go, I want to return to the idea of exotic pets. Nile, you have some points you want to remind our listeners about concerning exotic pets.
Yes, it's very important to be responsible. If you have an exotic pet that you can't keep anymore, you should not let it go into the wild. It will almost inevitably damage the ecosystem.
Oh dear. Can we stop people from doing this?
Well, my department does educational work, and we tell people to return the pet to the pet shop they bought it from, or they can contact the Kowloon Exotic Pets Hospital.
Okay. Wendy, what does your hospital do with the unwanted exotic pets?
We have an orphan program if the pet is no longer wanted. It's a free service.
Yes, the hospital does do a great job. And the program has been running for 10 years. Is that right, Wendy?
Yes, 10 years.
That's great news. We don't want the local ecosystem destroyed. Well, we've just about run out of time. Thank you to both of you, for dropping in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week with all the latest news about keeping goldfish.
That is the end of the listening component of this test. You will have 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete the written tasks in either Part B1 or Part B2. An announcement will be made when time is up. Take off your earphones now and turn off your radio.